What's up, guys? Phoenix here, and I was getting a lot of requests for people that wanted to see the deck that I'm playing Garuda in, yada 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 yada. So I really wanted to keep it a secret as long as I could, what my specific build was, but I might as well just put it out now. And I'm playing this weekend at a regional in Norcross, Georgia. So we'll see what happens. So I'm just gonna jump right into it because you should know what this deck is by now. I just love Dragunitys. Um, 3 Dragunity ducks, standard, staple. He does everything the deck is supposed to do, is allowed by him. And then one Legionnaire. Was running 2, but then I cut it for the Garuda that I run. I was running 2 strictly for the Evil Swarm matchup, but it's not beneficial in any other matchup other than against Evil Swarms. So honestly, I'm feeling like I'm siding the second one or something. Like, he's only useful in that matchup because there's nothing really he does against any other relevant deck of the format, because everything else is just Prophecy Knee Dragons. I mean, and he gets in against those rogue decks. So, I don't know. One Zephyros, you don't need more than one now. You absolutely do not need more than one. He actually causes your deck to clog if you run more than one, because of the fact that you can't just pitch him for Tempest. If you get those awkward ass hands where it's just Tempest and any of these, at least you can pitch those to get a phalanx and then fuel like a Cards of Constance or anything. But if you have Tempest this and a Cards of Constance, you're really not doing much with your life. And the second Zephyros got replaced by the one Garuda. I'm going to go ahead and say that I absolutely hate this card. It does nothing really substantial for the deck other than just letting you win more. And I don't even win more as in win more games. The games that you play Garuda in, you have plays that would win you the game anyway. It's just one of those cards that just lets you win more. It just, I don't know. My best function for it as of right now has just been for using it as a 4th Dux. That's pretty much all I use it for. Sure, it allows you to continue your loops, your combos, and all that, but it's really not that beneficial until you're actually, like starting to run out of monsters to summon. I mean, sure, you can banish Tempest from the grave, but by the time you have Tempest in the grave to banish all this, you really have nothing left in your deck that's worth searching, because you've probably already gone through both your Mistletoes off of either Tempest searching them, or, still kind of sick, or because of you've been summoning them off of a Tum or anything like that. It's just, Garuda is just one of those cards that I really don't agree with in this deck. The only reason I'm running it is because it can function as a 4th Dux. If I have this in hand and I have a Ravine up, I can just search for a tuner, drop this, and summon it. That's really the best thing that this does for the deck is act as a 4th Dux. That's it. For tuners, 3 Phalanx, if I can get that one off the other. He's staple at 3. I really would not run any less, and if you do, then you're going to have a bad time. 1 act leads to support the Legionnaire, and it's just another Cards of Constance target. It's another thing to be searched for with the Tempest. And once you've already used your Legionnaire, you can either combo this with the Vajrayana for 3,800, which is very relevant against a lot of meta decks, because sometimes you just need to end the game now, or you can just banish it off Garuda. It gives you another thing to banish that wouldn't really matter to you. 2 Mistletoes, 3 Clogs, and it's searchable, so there's no real reason to run 3. If you were going to run a 3rd Mistleton, you might as well just run a Dragunity Armor Leviton, because that'll just allow you to go into Trident Dragons easier if you're extra decking that. 2 Tempests. There's no real room for the 3rd that I can find without cutting something that's a lot more beneficial to the deck. And 2 is an alright number, because it will clog eventually. And the thing is that, yes, you're only running 2 Tempests. If you open 1, that means you only have 1 left in your deck to Gold Sark for. I understand this. But you're also playing Dragunitys. If your Gold Sarks aren't Gold Sarking for Tempests, you can either be Gold Sarking for Avarice, which is almost always live, almost always a good card, or you can just pitch the Gold Sarks for Ravine. It's really not a life or death situation if you run out of Tempest to Gold Sark. It's really not. And just the 3rd Tempest just doesn't really mesh very well with the Garuda, because you're almost removing too much from your grave, and it becomes to where it gets to the point where the Garuda has nothing to remove. The 1 Red Eyes, and then 2 Max C's rounding up the end of the monster count. These could be Valors. I just like Max C better against the overall format, because there are still decks like Evil Swarms running around that Valor does nothing to if they open Caster. At least you can drop them XC and at least deter them from going into their Ophion, or you can do things along those lines. This is just really good against dragons, which are the best deck right now, hands down. If you drop a Max C against dragons, if they don't have a super rejuve and they've been doing baby plays, there's nothing they can do to plus past you. So it's either they have to stop or they have to keep going off under a Max C and then risk getting breakthrough skilled or Veilered if you sided those in, whatever. It's just an overall really good card, and I really like it right now. Drawing those extra cards always help in this deck. So that's 17 monsters for the spells, 3 Dragon Ravine, and 3 Terraforming. 2 cards of Consonance. It's a really solid card now with Tempest. I've almost been considering cutting it though, just because the deck is so consistent in its hands with Tempest and all that, that you almost never actually need it. It's just, it helps you get you further into your plays. So if there was ever a card to cut in the main board, I would probably cut this first. 3 Gold Sark, just good. It just turns, this card just becomes any of your dragons out of your deck that are relevant, like your Mistletons, your Phalanxes, your Ackleyses. It just adds so much more consistency to the deck, and the ability to even just, if you want a Gold Sark and Avarice, you're guaranteed to get that Avarice in 2 turns. It's fairly devastating if you can mount an oppressive field and then in 2 turns just get an Avarice if anything went wrong. 2 MST, I'm not really sure about this right now. It's just I'm playing at a regional, not a YCS. So I'm expecting to play against a lot more random decks than actually playing against, dragons all day. And my Evil Swarm matchup isn't really that great unless I go first. So the MSTs just, they kind of help. I mean, they get sided out every game against dragons. Hands down. The only thing it does is hit breakthrough skills. But even against dragons, if you MST their breakthrough skill before you go off, you can make a Blader and then just cripple them for the rest of the game. So it's almost worth playing, and I would like to touch back on that point of, you're playing Dragunitys. These are never going to be dead if you have a Dragon Ravine. But it's whatever. Heavy Storm, Foolish Burial. This card is really good as of right now. I love Foolish. Just because of the fact that, I mean, even if you have a hand that's like, if you open a really, really weird hand of Garuda Foolish, you can still make plays, because you can just Foolish a Tempest, then Garuda remove it to summon the Garuda, and then you get a Phalanx to hand, and then you have a Stardust. It's not ideal, but it gives you those options, which is very relevant. The One Book of Moon card is actually good again. Thank you, Dragosek. Monster Reborn and Avarice. People have been cutting this from their main board that I've been seeing, and I strongly disagree. I mean, sure, you can run more traps in its place, but, I mean, there's no real point. As for the trap lineup, 3 copies of Breakthrough Skill. I'm having to proxy one. I'm getting the other one by the regional. I have one in the mail right now. And if that one doesn't even come, I've got some people that would probably let me borrow one. If not, I'll just run a 3rd Fiendish Chain, or I'll just run 1 Fiendish Chain and pretend that it's the 3rd Breakthrough Skill. This card is amazing. Amazing. I love this card. It's 2 Veilers in 1. What more can you ask for? I do hate that people are playing it now, because that means that Stardust is never safe as long as one of these is in the grave. Making a Stardust is never a safe play, because they can just Breakthrough Skill your Stardust and then start MSTing or heavying back rows. But I mean, it's whatever. It is all right. Then Solemn and Solemn to round up the traps. I don't really like these this format. I like this. I don't like Warning. But it's just the 2 best other traps that I could be running at the moment. And then I'm just going to breeze through the extra deck. Crimson Blader, best motherfucker in the game right now. He just wins. That's all he does. He just beats E-Dragons. There's nothing they can do outside of Blaster popping in. And even then, you can just win next turn. Scrap Dragon, Thought Ruler, Eradicate a target. I prefer him over Red Dragon Archfiend right now, just because of the gaining life, and against Ophion.deck, this just makes it to where they can't, Forbidden Dress you or anything like that to get over you, which is good. 2 Stardust, the Durg, and 3 Vajrayanas. And then for the Exceeds, Gaia Dragon, Strike Bouncer, a Ptolemy, M7, and a Tum, and then a Ice Beast Zero Fine, which is amazing. Sylphin, I love it. And then the Abyss Dweller, which is also really good against E-Dragons, because if they have a lot of stuff in the grave and it's late game and you can pump out an Abyss Dweller, if you can get out, if you can't get out the Blader for some odd reason, like they Valor your Ducks and you have a live Zephyros or Garuda, and you can make the Abyss Dweller. I mean, you can just draw phase Abyss Dweller them and all their dragons in grave are dead. And also, it's just another card to ensure the Mermail matchup. I was making this a lot at YCS New Jersey, first turn with Stardust. It's pretty good. And this card is just amazing because if you go second, this is usually what you try to pump out first against Evil Swarms because it negates the Ophion, and if you have a Ravine on board, it's at 2,900, which means that they can't really get over it, even if they, unless they have a dress. And then they have to make another Ophion and go into this, and by then you can just Legionnaire pop their second Ophion and just try and go for advantage. But, as always, guys, comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know if you like the deck profile. If not, then I guess you're screwed because it's the way I'm running the deck. Once again, I would like to express how much I absolutely despise this card. I hate it. I always draw it at wrong times, and I don't know. I'm just testing it. I don't like it though. This is the first thing I would cut from my deck if it wasn't so damn, play promoting. But anyway, guys, comment, rate, subscribe. Clicking that if you have not, I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps me make money, and there's no reason to lie about that. I'll have some games up with me playing this version of the deck on DevPro. One later today, and then a couple more maybe tomorrow and over the weekend while I'm playing at the regional. And as always, guys, take care. I can't think of anything else to say on the subject except for fuck Garuda. I hate this bastard. Look at him. He looks all cocky and shit. He's just like, look at me flow through the wind.